Ever since Coach Prime took over at Colorado, the narrative around the Buffaloes program has changed tremendously. Before he took over, you could argue that Colorado was in the worst shape of any Power 5 program. They got pretty much blown out in every game, had extremely low recruiting rankings, and just overall seemed to be in a very helpless spot. Coach Prime has done wonders in his first few months there, and while at times I think he's getting a little bit too much hype or getting a little bit too much publicity, overall he's done a good job there so far and has done exactly what the Colorado Athletic Department wanted him to do, and that was to bring publicity and bring good players back to this dead program. Ultimately, if Coach Prime flames out, Colorado will still probably be in a better spot after that than what they have been recently. One of the big problems for Colorado over the last few years has been quarterback play. They've gone through quarterback after quarterback, and no one has really been able to shine at that position, but Coach Prime has brought in his son, and now has his first quarterback of the future. In today's video, I'm going to introduce you to their new quarterback, Danny O'Neil, his impact on the Colorado program, and why I actually personally think he is the most underrated quarterback in the 2024 class, and I'm not even being sarcastic or overdramatic with that. But before we get started, be sure to leave a like if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you love college football content, turn on post notifications so you never miss when I upload, and let me know what player, topic, team, or situation I could cover next. Now, let's get started. As I said, today we're going to be talking about Colorado's most recent quarterback commit, Danny O'Neil. He is from Cathedral High School in Indianapolis, Indiana, but in order to understand what his impact could be in the future, we need to go look in the past and talk about how O'Neil got to this point first. O'Neil always displayed a love for football even as a 2-year-old toddler. The family remembers his first football moment when he was sitting on his father's lap during his Sunday Catholic Mass. His mother said, quote, "He wasn't even walking yet. He grabbed a little Notre Dame football from the diaper bag and threw it down the aisle to the priest in the middle of Mass. We were like, he's always going to have an arm on him." From there, he spent his childhood watching football with his dad, whether it was on TV or local high school football games, so it seemed he was destined to be a quarterback one day. Just no one knew how good he would be. He grew up idolizing Peyton Manning, and it is why he chose to wear the number 18 jersey when he later got on the football field. Obviously, he's from Indianapolis, so he grew up as a die-hard Colts fan. His dad said, quote, "He came out knowing he was going to be a quarterback. From the earliest time when he could start talking and throwing a ball, it was always about throwing a football and trying to emulate Peyton Manning. That was his guy. He still likes number 18. Notre Dame was also in the family tree, as his grandfather played baseball there, and his dad was a wrestler for the Fighting Irish. When he eventually got to middle school, the family started to take his football career very seriously, as he started working with trainer Anthony Morelli after his 6th grade season. During his time in training, he learned the importance of proper footwork and ideal throwing mechanics. His trainer convinced him that the key to success was studying film, and to this day, he apparently can't watch enough of it. From that point on, he was being prepped to be a star quarterback and decided when he got to high school to enroll at a local private school. He would arrive at Cathedral High School, which just so happened to be the Irish as well, and there were plenty of big-time players who have walked those halls recently. Guys such as NFL receiver Terry McLaurin, starting Alabama offensive lineman Emil Ekiyor, NFL linebacker Pete Werner, and former top 100 recruit Marquise Stepp. Early on, O'Neil showed immense potential when he got there, and his first 3 offers would come from Toledo, Miami of Ohio, and Purdue, which was just an hour and a half up north from him. During his time at Cathedral, he had some talented players to throw the ball to, as his 2 primary targets were 3-star recruit Javon Tibbs, who is currently headed to Purdue this fall, and 3-star tight end Brennan Wooten, who's going to Western Michigan. It also helped that he was anchored by a great defensive player by the name of Kendrick Gilbert, who's currently a 4-star recruit and is wanted by national programs. O'Neil has been on scouts' radar since his freshman year at Cathedral, and it was a matter of when, not if, he become a high-major quarterback. But what was he looking for in a school? Well, O'Neil laid out 5 main things he is looking for. 1, a good degree. 2, coaches who believe in him. 3, the ability to compete for playing time. 4, a system that fit his style. And 5, coaching stability. As a sophomore, he burst out onto the national scene with huge numbers, as he threw for 2,654 yards and 32 touchdowns. He also completed 67% of his passes and led Cathedral to a 10-2 record and his state semifinal berth. So far, Danny has already set school records in his time there, as he broke the record for completions in a career with 399 and touchdown passes with 65. Early on in his recruitment, it looked like Notre Dame was going to be the school to beat, as obviously he had family ties there, and the Irish didn't have to look too far to see this guy. He was only a couple hours down south. Other schools did eventually come into the mix though, and with CJ Carr committed for the 2024 class, there was really no reason for him to consider Notre Dame anymore, and they started to look past him as well. From there, he went on a ton of unofficial visits though, and big schools really wanted him. He visited Georgia, Florida State, Northwestern, Purdue, Cincinnati, and Kentucky, and also was apparently planning on going to Ohio State. His recruitment was truly national, but there was one thing that was holding him back. It would be his height. Teams were waiting to see if he would grow enough before they would offer him, and unfortunately, he has not reached the height for a big-time quarterback recruit, but I honestly don't really think that's going to matter, and big schools still wanted him either way. Maybe it's because of his numbers, or his big school mindset. O'Neal said, quote, "I want to go to college, go through the regular season undefeated, win a national championship, and win the Heisman. I want to do what everyone dreams of as a kid." So obviously O'Neal has been getting better and better, and so far as a starter at Cathedral, he's gone 23-3 and has plenty of experience and the intangibles. He believed he had the makeup of a future winning college football quarterback, and there were plenty of schools that would ultimately try to get him. He eventually chose Coach Prime in Colorado a couple of days ago over the likes of Kentucky, Louisville, Miami, Illinois, and Northwestern, but it really seemed it came down to Kentucky and Colorado, as over the last few months, I'd seen numerous crystal balls to him to both schools. In case you aren't familiar, I'm from the Indianapolis area, so I've been hearing about O'Neal for seemingly 2 or 3 years now, and I always heard this guy was going to be big time, so I've kept up with him. For his high school career so far, O'Neal has been insane. He has 5,718 passing yards and 67 touchdowns through the air. He has also 600 yards and 19 touchdowns on the ground, so he can pretty much do everything on the field. Coach Prime loves both his attitude and his production, which is why O'Neal has become his first quarterback commit of the Coach Prime era there. He decided to visit Colorado just a few days ago, and he felt important when he was there. As he drove through Colorado's campus, he spotted a fraternity house that had a bed sheet with 3 names sprayed on it: Gage Ginther, Aaron Butler, and Danny O'Neal. That was the wish list of recruits that frat wanted to see change Colorado football, and I'm sure that resonated with Danny. When he got there, he had no intention of committing to Colorado heading into the weekend, but he knew that once he found the right fit, he'd be willing to make a decision. He said that Lewis joked he wasn't going to let O'Neal leave Boulder without his commitment, but O'Neal laughed it off. Now the staff is laughing as a few days later, he committed. What I find really interesting about this, decided he wanted this 3-star quarterback instead of the plenty of 4-star recruits that probably would consider him. Despite only being a 3-star, he should be a 4-star. According to a 24/7 Sports Scout, they like everything about him. He plays for a good program, won a bunch of games, has great stats, and an awesome touchdown to turnover ratio. He had all those things, but he just was not as tall as some of the other guys on the national recruiting board. Personally, I think it's a little bit ridiculous, because in my opinion, he checks every box to being a 4-star recruit, but again, I am not a scout. According to 24/7 Sports right now, he's a 3-star recruit, the number 33 quarterback, and the 572nd best player in the class of 2024. He also loves Coach. He said, quote, "Just being around Coach Prime all weekend really sold it. I feel like I can trust the coaching staff, and I love his family and his approach to life." In terms of why I think this guy is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country, well, 1, there aren't many quarterbacks right now in his class that have better stats than him. 2, he has an absolute winner mindset. And 3, his fun and confidence will more than likely transition to the next level. He said, quote, "I think I can make every throw inside the pocket and on the run, but what really elevates my game is my ability to extend plays. I can play a little backyard football and all that." To those who've been watching him, that backyard football fire was on full display, as against Center Grove, a perennial power in the area, he passed for 410 yards and 5 touchdowns, as he led his team from 27 points down and won the game. He's a fearless, confident player who has had big-time stats, and if he was just a couple inches taller, would probably be ranked inside the top 100 players in the country right now. I think Coach Prime got an absolute gem in O'Neal, and he has all the traits to be the next great Colorado quarterback and potentially continue to change the narrative for Colorado football. Shedeur Sanders will probably do a great job next year, but O'Neal's the guy after that, unless something crazy happens, and I look forward to seeing in a Buffalo's helmet. But what do you guys think? If you're a Colorado fan, what do you think of Danny O'Neal and your current quarterback situation? Who is another high school quarterback or recruit I could take a look at in my next video? And what are your thoughts on Colorado football right now? Before you go, be sure to let me know your thoughts. Leave a like if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.